Ladies and gentlemen, former President Donald Trump will not serve 1 second in jail or prison. This will not happen, okay? Aside from the absurd double standard, you have John Bolton, who pushed for every terrible, devastating counterinsurgency conflict of the past 20 plus years, stating, well, just because there's a double standard, and he said this on CNN, don't you want some standards? Does that mean that no standards apply to Trump? No, Honorable Mr. Bolton. If you treat Clinton and Hunter in a certain manner, and Joe, if you treat top secret intel siphoned onto servers, secret private computer servers that could have been infiltrated, likely were infiltrated by the entire planet, by every adversarial intel agency on the planet, then you treat Trump in the same manner. If you cannot find a reasonable prosecutor to indict Clinton for secret servers that were independent from U.S. government networks, somehow, some way, and it'd be wonderful if Mr. Bolton or all the wonderful, highly educated experts, foreign policy, national security experts, if they could explain how Clinton's servers were able to attain classified top secret SAP intel from government agencies onto independent computer networks that she ran, that would be fantastic, because the act of doing so is, number one, impossible from a cybersecurity perspective, number two, illegal, and number three, a national security and cybersecurity nightmare. Boxes from Office Depot, as a former president with the power to declassify that Clinton did not have, is not the national security nightmare and classified data debacle monstrosity that Clinton's servers were, okay? What happened with Clinton was the Mount Everest of classified data fiascos. So if you're going to not be able to find a reasonable prosecutor, that is the standard, okay? And furthermore, and this is why you should hit subscribe right now to this channel, CNN, Supreme Court vacates former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell's conviction. Jack Smith lost this case. So Jack Smith, that was a case where the Supreme Court said, nah, you know what? You don't have enough evidence. There was a conviction, and it was a unanimous decision, an 8-0 decision, okay, that Jack Smith lost. They say, well, Eileen Cannon was, she had a decision overturned by a 3-judge panel. Okay, well, 8 Supreme Court judges overturned a conviction from Jack Smith. Okay? So that should tell you where this is going to go. All right? They go after their political rivals all the time. And oftentimes they're overzealous, and Democrats just lose by getting their convictions overturned in the Supreme Court or appeals courts. And that's what's going to happen with Trump. I think it'll probably be an acquittal or a mistrial. He's a former president, and that classified document that he was supposed to talk about, he allegedly talked about in the audio, which we haven't heard, by the way, doesn't exist. Nobody has it. How are you going to convict him for an audio of him talking about a document that doesn't exist? He very well could have completely lied about what he was talking about just to get the Keystone Cops within the Democratic Party going after him and chasing him and indicting him on something he made up. That's very possible. But hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. To my super thank you to the Patreons, the new Patreons. Thank you so very much. Your support on this channel is so important, and I just want to thank you. To the members of this channel, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe. Look, the Supreme Court, here you have one article, SCOTUS just issued a ruling that may have helped Jack Smith in the Trump case. Okay, well, again, you know what? Here you have An example, Supreme Court reversed the decision. I'm reading 8-0 and then 9-0. But Jack Smith lost a conviction by a unanimous Supreme Court reversal. They wanted Eileen Cannon, the judge, investigated. Democrats had the audacity, because they're almost always completely apoplectic when it comes to Trump. They wanted the judge in Florida investigated because a 3-judge appeals panel reversed the decision she made that helped Trump. What do you do when 8 Supreme Court justices reverse Jack Smith's conviction, the special counsel? Should he then resign? Should he be investigated by Republicans for having a conviction overturned? Okay, because the prosecution was overzealous and had a very vague and broad definition of what gifts entail, official business entailed. Okay, and here it's like they have 31 counts or 30 plus counts pertaining to 30 plus documents that Trump stated he declassified as a former president. And so they have no way of proving he didn't declassify. And the fact that he could declassify them, Trump doesn't have to prove that as president he declassified. Okay? There's enough doubt there for an acquittal or for a mistrial. And if it's a mistrial, they're not going to go after him again. Because the way things are going, Trump will retake the Oval Office. Okay? There are enough Republicans in Georgia and Arizona now that see what Biden's doing. I mean, the country is descending into a very bad point. Okay? Real wages have been down almost every day of Biden's presidency. So it really doesn't matter if unemployment is low. Unemployment was low and real wages were up under Trump. And we had record highs in household median income. So you have a situation where it's like, I don't think people really understand that I don't think like Democrats truly understand what they're voting for. They always like to say in this arrogant tone, Republicans or people who vote for Trump vote against their interests. No. Poverty has gone up. Okay, as Democrats push for inclusivity and all these programs, poverty rates have gone up. So it's like a gigantic racket. You have all these corporations who, it's like a sleight of hand. What they do is they say, we're going to be fair and just and try to make up for historical wrongs. Okay, poverty is going up. So if you engage in a program, you pay for a government program or a corporate program where you want to make things equal, while at the same time the poverty rate for all demographics in the country is going up because inflation when it comes to food and energy and rent is far greater, far higher than 4%. Okay, and then real wages are down. Wages might be going up, but when you take into account inflation, okay, they can say, the inflation rate's only 4%. Not for everyday items like eggs and groceries and rent. That increase is far greater than 4%. You're looking at 20 to 30% in some cases, depending on where you are, especially if you're in a blue state. You're doing worse. So for the highly educated, morally superior Democrats who despise Trump, you're doing worse in terms of the economy with Biden. Much worse. And then when you have governors, or look, the unemployment rates reach a record low. We had record low unemployment before Democratic governors shut down their entire states. You didn't have to do that. Then they say the consensus is fueled by far more than what's good for people. The consensus is influenced on any topic by a number of factors other than what's good for people or for citizens. You vote against your interest voting Democrat, especially if you're talking about the economy. The economy's far worse. And the issue with inflation and a whole bunch of other foreign policy is an absolute catastrophe. I don't know how putting an icon next to your Twitter profile, and I don't have Twitter, and I don't have Facebook, makes anything better around the world. And we still have never-ending conflict in Europe. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. It'll be overturned, likely a unanimous reversal like with the Jack Smith conviction in Virginia. Give me your thoughts.